All right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:01. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record reflect all council members are present. Does anyone have a conflict of interest declaration tonight? No. Seeing none, are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
I would like to make a change to the agenda. Would like to present a future agenda item after our presentation today.
So you want to take an item out of order?
That's what
That
I'm
was asking? Okay. Any changes to, you wanted to do future agenda items after which part?
After our presentations.
Okay.
Proclamations specifically.
After proclamations?
Yep.
Really quick.
Everyone okay with that?
Can you turn Councilmember Marquez's mic as well as mine up, if
1,
possible?
2, 1, 2.
Check,
1,
check.
2.
Check.
Hello, check.
Check.
Are you able to hear us out there? Okay.
Check.
He just shut off.
Check. Yeah, the mic's on. Check. Check.
We got one coming.
Check 1.
Okay, so is everyone okay moving future agenda items up on the calendar?
What was his request? I couldn't hear.
He requested we move future agenda items under proclamations or after proclamations. Okay, you're okay? Sure. You're okay? That's, all right, so we're good. Kevin, any changes or deletions to the agenda?
No changes other than the one just agreed upon.
Thank you. Into public comments. Any person wishing to speak in person on an item not listed on the agenda may do so at this time. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the City Council is not allowed to consider issues or take action on any item not listed on the agenda. 3 minutes are allotted to each speaker. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment about any item that's not on our agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to proclamations. At D1, it is the Pride Month proclamation. Councilmember Lasky.
Proclamation.
Turn on your microphone, or is it?
Test. Proclamation of the City Council of the City of Cloverdale proclaiming June 2025 as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, plus Pride Month. Whereas Pride Month is a vibrant and inclusive celebration that honors the LGBTQIA plus community, their history, achievements, and ongoing struggle for equality, and this annual event serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of acceptance, diversity, and love. And whereas Cloverdale's LGBTQIA plus communities represent an integral part of our community and enhance our city's well-being. And whereas the LGBTQIA plus community are our neighbors, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, friends, and allies. These individuals are vital to our city and demonstrate with pride and commitment by virtue of their contributions to our city's economy and quality of life. And whereas the LGBTQIA plus community includes elected and appointed officials, professionals, business owners, decision makers, employees in government, as well as public and private enterprises, parents, students, homeowners, charitable organizations, and volunteers. And whereas Pride Month reflects upon a movement 53 years ago when a trans woman of color, Marsha P. Johnson, threw the first brick at the Stonewall Bar in New York, New York. The Stonewall Uprising began as a fight for equality and in opposition to discriminatory laws and treatment. The Stonewall Uprising continues to inspire the modern LGBTQIA+ civil rights movement. And whereas the City of Cloverdale recognizes the modern LGBTQIA+ civil rights movement started as a protest for equality and hopes the movement continues to lead towards a more equal, just, and fair society. And whereas California has been a leader in advancing the civil rights of its LGBTQIA+ citizens, and the City of Cloverdale is no different. While further progress and achievements need to be made, it is important to recognize and celebrate the immense gains and progress the LGBTQIA+ community has made to date in our community, state, and nation. And whereas this month and every month, the City of Cloverdale stands with the LGBTQIA+ community and allies as they take pride in who they are and whom they love. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Todd Lands, Mayor of the City of Cloverdale, do hereby proclaim June 2025 as Pride Month in Cloverdale, and urge all of our citizens to join together in ending prejudice wherever it may exist, to respect the rights of all people, and to celebrate the diversity resulting in cultural richness within our city. So dated June 25, 2025. So ordered, Todd Lands, Mayor.
Awesome.
Thank you, Councilmember. Does anyone have anything they would like to say?
This Pride Month, I just want to thank the mayor, and I see we have some folks that were a part of the flag raising. We actually got that together this year. Mayor Lands did an outstanding job of that. We had a lot of people down there, and talking to the folks that were down there, some good friends, some good allies, and I'll tell you what, I think Pride Month's really going to kick off in Cloverdale and get better and better every year, and we're going to see that flag raising be a really big thing in Cloverdale. So I appreciate everybody, and especially to Mayor Lands for getting that put together. So thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to acknowledge all the residents and business owners and supporters who put together Cloverdale's first annual Pride celebration. The success of the weekend's events highlight the unity and strength of our community. You all put the love in Cloverdale. Happy Pride Month.
And I'd just like to say to my son, Jared, I love you and I support you.
First thing I want to say that's not on my list of things to say, it's not about me. It's about Cloverdale. And I appreciate everyone coming together for the flag raising. That was amazing. I just got to be part of it. I was excited that I could. Thought a lot about what I wanted to say tonight, and it's been difficult to come up with the right words. I think it's because I can't pretend to understand or relate to the struggles and difficulties that some people have gone through over the decades to get to this point in time. Cloverdale has changed and grown throughout the years that I have lived here. However, the one thing that has always been consistent is the support for our own community. We've always looked on our own community members as family, accepted them for who they are, and helped them through their struggles. It is my intention to continue the strength and resilience of Cloverdale and make sure everyone feels that they are safe and part of our family. As in our name, love is part of Cloverdale and always will be. I want to thank the Cloverdale Arts Alliance and the Cloverdale Performing Arts Center and the Beat Restaurant, the City Council, and the City Cloverdale staff for working so hard to continually make Cloverdale the little hidden secret that we have in Sonoma County. I can't thank you guys enough for everything you're doing for this. So that's it. Awesome. Is there anyone that'd like to make any public comments or speak on it at all?
Good evening. Good evening, members of the City Council, Mayor Lands. My name is Steve Cava, Cloverdalian. I just want to thank all of you for what you did for the community, the LGBTQ community here in Cloverdale, but also for the larger community, showing your support allowed the rest of the community to also show their support. And it was our first year doing Cloverdale Pride, and it was great to work with the Alliance and CPAC, as well as the Beat, and behind me is a member of the Alliance to talk as well. But I just really want to personally thank you all for what you did.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Mayor Lands, City Manager Kevin Thompson, and esteemed council members. My name is Eric Cherary. I'm a member of the Cloverdale Arts Alliance, and I just have to say this, for our first annual Pride Weekend, the city couldn't have been a more welcoming place. Thanks to the city for raising the flag. The ceremony was great. I think next year, it'll, like Vice Mayor Wheeler said, it'll be even better. And I just love Cloverdale. It's a really just wonderful community. So many people here are just so supportive of each other. And I think the most important thing that we can always focus on is finding common ground and ways to work together, no matter what our individual differences are. And that's really what Pride Month is about, is recognizing those differences, celebrating them, and treating people with respect and dignity. So thank you to all of you for your support. And I'm really proud to live. I live outside of the city, but I'm in the zip code. And I'm really involved in this town. This is my town. I love it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Would like to take anyone else? I'm sorry. Anyone else? Would like to take a photo? Anyone that wants to be in this photo, you're all welcome. Let's do it all together.
Check.
I thought you'd do better on the audience for me, Steve, but it's okay. I thought you'd do better on the audience for me.
Check, check.
Check. Check, check. Okay, moving forward, we will move up. Let me see, where is it in here? Right now, go ahead. In future agenda items.
As an expression of our city council's official sentiments, I'd like to make an adoption to our city flag policy. This is a request to display a commemorative flag, which would be the Pride flag, at the location of the Cloverdale Regional Library flagpole between the time period of June 1st and June 30th.
Okay, so let's take a look and see. We have support to bring it back as a future agenda item. Councilmember Lasky? Do you want me to? Good morning, sir. How are you? He is asking to amend our policy for the flag policy to allow the pride flag to fly at the regional library in Cloverdale. And so we have to do this as a future agenda item. We get consensus to bring it back as an item.
Oh, we can do a future agenda.
Okay. You good with that?
Sure.
Okay, there we go. Awesome. So because we're at the end of this year, you guys have lots of time, but just know that that'd be great to get that going probably beginning of the year. Whenever we do our whole reassignment and everything that we bring forward, that'd be great. Perfect. Thank you. Anyone else have any future agenda items, or do you want me to bring it up again later?
We can bring it up.
Okay. All right, we'll move into the consent calendar. All items under the consent calendar will be considered together by one action of the City Council unless any council member or member of the public requests that an item be removed and considered separately. Does anyone have any items that they would like to pull? Seeing none, does anyone in the audience have any items they would like to pull on our consent calendar? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to bring the consent calendar forward.
Thank you. We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. We'll move into public hearings, 2025 presentation of the status of vacancies in the city of Cloverdale.
Thank you, Mayor. In accordance with Assembly Bill 2561, the city is required to have a public hearing regarding vacancies that we currently have. We currently have 2 vacancies in the city, the Assistant City Manager, Community Development Director, my old position, and 1 police officer. The city does actively recruit. We're going to be hopefully recruiting for some of these positions in the near future. This really is just an item for the city to acknowledge that there are open positions, and that I think some cities in the past have kept those positions open with no intent to fill them, and it's kind of a union thing that we have the public hearing. So if you want to, so you don't have to do you just receive the report. There's no motion, there's no resolution or anything.
Anyone have any questions or comments from the council?
Is are any of the vacancies detrimental to the city's business?
I don't believe so.
Not the one, we're actively trying to fill them all, so it's, some of them are. However, it's not like we're not trying to fill them. They're working hard. I'd say as I look at your dispatchers or police officers and things, for sure. Other comments from anyone? Anyone in the audience have any comments regarding this item? Seeing none, I think we are good. Thank you. Move on to new business. H1, Esmeralda approval timeline. Are you online and ready to go?
See if they can,
If they're not, we can.
they're on. I just don't know
Okay.
if we're going to hear them.
Devin and Michael?
Yeah.
All right, Devin and Michael, we've gone ahead and made you panelists. You should be able to share your screen, show yourselves. If you can test your audio, we've been having a lot of AV techs issues in the last few weeks. If you don't mind testing your audio so we can see if we can hear you or not. All right, as of now, we cannot. If you can just keep talking. Can you, Booth, can you adjust, there's a knob over there that we sometimes have to turn on just so we can hear the Zoom feed. We won't know until we hear him over the speakers. All right, one second. Hold up. You can just keep talking, test. Sorry about that.
Does anyone have a harmonica in their pocket?
Is she? I can't see
Any
it.
songs that you're just dying to sing? Now's your time. This podium's for you.
Christmas carols.
I'm in. $200 against 2.
You can test your mic again. It looks like you are. We're still not here.
No, we're going to table it. We're not going to play with this
I can-
stupid system again. We're not doing that. I'm sorry, I should ask the council, but my personal feelings flew out of my mouth.
I have the points.
Are you able to speak to all of their points, Kevin? You think?
I don't mind doing it, and we can just knock it out if you want. I mean, it's up to you guys.
If you feel comfortable, and the council, are you guys okay with Kevin?
They're both giving thumbs up that they're okay with it.
Hey, Mike, can you put the attachment, the timeline process up so we can all see it? This is a request from Esmeralda to present their timeline. So tonight's presentation is just 100% outreach process. We're not making any decisions. It's just really to let you know the process that they're pursuing and how the city will be involved with that. The first community open house will be Thursday, July 24th at the History Museum. So they're going to be doing 6 formal and informal opportunities over the next 6 months for the public to provide comments and input on their plan. So they're really going all out in terms of doing outreach, not involving the city, so they're doing it on their own, and they're going to really get the community involved with the process and to move forward. So you can see on the screen that there's it's a pretty aggressive timeline. They're trying to be completed by February, and we think it is possible. We've been over this timeline with them numerous times, and it's, there's things can fall off, but we do think it's absolutely possible, if provided they can meet their goals and their submittals to us in time. So anyone who registers their name on the Esmeralda's website will receive a notice regarding the upcoming meeting, so I encourage everyone to do that. And we can put that in our newsletter as well. And they're going to be publishing articles in the Cloverdale Connect. They really want to get as many people involved in the community as they can. That's why they're doing so many outreach meetings. And we encourage them to do that. That will make it easier when it does go to Planning Commission and City Council. A lot of the questions could be asked and answered by them in the community forums so that they can work those things out before it gets to formal hearings. Again, they're hoping to be formally approved by the end of February. And so there will be several Planning Commission and City Council hearings during that process. And I mean, there's really no action for you. It's just kind of, they're very serious about the project, and I think they want us to know that, and they've put together this timeline, and we're going to do everything we can to help them achieve this timeline.
Kevin, questions, comments? Councilmember, anyone? Yes.
Just like to thank Devin and Michael for putting together such a clear timeline and involving our community in anybody who's interested or has any questions. Really encourage you to participate.
Yes, Mayor? It's a very tight timeline. I'm sure Devin can hear us and Michael, so thank you. I know it's pretty anxious here. I'm excited to get this going as well. I don't know if maybe Kevin, you can help me. CEQA, does that fit into this time? I see it on the timeline, but this is really tight for CEQA. I mean, you're looking at everything being perfect, right?
It is tight. I mean, it's doable, and so, obviously, through the CEQA process, sometimes things come up, but it is a doable timeline with everyone working hard and trying to get it done.
Well, they have 2 professionals doing a very good job, so hopefully it works out.
They're waist deep in CEQA, or chest deep at this point. We have meetings every week or every couple weeks with the CEQA consultant, and there's a whole team of folks on there in all the different disciplines. So they're moving forward.
Great. Do you want to talk about, these microphones are going to drive me insane. You want to talk about the entitlement costs a little bit so that we talk about budget with the city? Who is this?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about the costs and how we're working together with them and a lot of these costs and where they're coming from is,
Yeah, well, we
Versus city budget.
have received a significant deposit from them, so we track our time and we bill it against the deposit. And it includes Alex's time and any consultant, Derek and all of us. So they've been obviously very willing to give us the deposit. And I mean, there will be money involved. And once they formally apply for all the entitlements, there's fees associated with that. It's such a big project that we're really doing kind of deposit model, because there's the development agreement, and that's going to take a lot of Alex's time, but it's all, we're collecting it and getting reimbursed for everything. So,
perfect.
yeah, they've been very cooperative with that.
Thank you. I'll open it up to the public. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a public comment? Mr. Terrari.
Thank you, Mayor Lands. I'm Eric Terrari. I'm actually a realtor. I work in town here with Compass. And I just want to say that I think this is a tremendous project. I would encourage the council and the planning commission and the mayor and the city attorney to work as diligently and as efficiently as possible to stick to this timeline. I do think time is of the essence in all these things. When we have someone that's willing to invest this much in our community, I think we need to make it as easy as possible for people to get things done and to move forward with the process. I think that the way that they're looking at this and trying to actually not create something separate, but to create something that integrates with the community that we love here. And they want to be a part of it. They want to partner with the community. And so I strongly encourage all of the city staff and city council to help that project move along as fast as possible. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience that'd like to make a public comment? Seeing none, we'll bring it back up to the dais. Any further comments from anyone? Michael and Devin, thank you so much for all the hard work you're putting into this. Sorry for the issues we were having here at our meeting. We'll try to get that fixed. And I look forward to working with all of you guys. Thank you so much. Next is H2, departmental updates and budget review. Who starts this one,
I
Kevin?
will. We're going to do a team effort on this one, so come on up, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful night.
So it's up there. It's a little fuzzy.
You're on menu right now.
Well, I can start going, Mike, here. So this is our budget review. We've adopted a 2-year budget, so we're basically 1 year through, and we thought it'd be a good idea to give the council an update on what we've accomplished in that first year and what we're going to try to accomplish in the second year. And so I asked each staff member to come up and just very quickly go over some of our big accomplishments and talk about what they want to get done in the second year. And then after that, Susie's going to give us kind of a snapshot on our current financial situation and talk about our revenues and expenses and give us a little bit update on that. And then the part that we're really going to want the council's involvement is we're going to propose some potential budget amendments for the following year of things that we want to accomplish. Some of those are further developed where we have dollar amounts and we've identified funding for different sources. Almost none of them are from the general fund, which is important. And then there's some other ones that we'd like to just get your input on that aren't as fully developed, that we will return if you are in concurrence with those ideas and with dollar amounts, and we'll start working on budget amendments for those. And you'll see what those are, a lot of park things and stuff like that, and there's some other ones, and we'll go into all of those. But I'd like to kick it off. I guess, Chief, I think you're first, and just go through our accomplishments and goals for next year.
All right. So I'm going to touch on our accomplishments here real quick. I'm going to be fast. Okay.
Thank you.
Bragging.
So we hired an officer and a CSO, which was Uzi and Charity. We retired 3 long-term employees. In our investigations, some of the investigations we solved the Gear murder, did a prelim, and I think it's going to. He was held to answer on that case. And it goes to. I think it goes to jury later this year. The flock cameras we used. We were able to identify a suspect using the flock camera and some DNA testing. The guy left a folder in the bank. So we identified that guy. Our investigations, enhancements, and response. So we were able to hire a detective, train that individual in certain areas. They're continuing to train, and we've been to some big incidences, murder, suicide, a few others that we were able to investigate fully by utilizing that individual and with their expertise, along with the DA's office and the other law enforcement professionals. With the flock camera as well, we gotten stolen vehicles, drugs, for search warrants. In that case, we're trying to locate an individual. We knew what car he drove. We were having trouble locating him. Pinged on the flock camera. Boom, found him. Hey, I need your swab. It's a very useful tool. We have one camera going in and another camera going in next year that you had previously approved. And we continue to collaborate with other law enforcement agencies with their investigations as well. We do the theft task force that the DA's office does. So our detective participates in that, and they go do stings for different areas, Walmart, around the county. We promoted 2 sergeants. We purchased 2 new vehicles, put those in service. We updated our building. The lighting, on the next slide, you'll see a picture of the new lighting on the building, which looks great. You can actually see us at night. We got a Homeland Security grant for $10,000. And we purchased some some bullet-resistant helmets and some body shields for active shooter type stuff. Next year, we'll be looking at going into what we call soft target, which is the schools. And I'll be proposing a gate system so that people can't drive down School Street when school's open. So I'll be trying to get that grant for them. We updated our building, again, lighting, and then we changed we got rid of our conference room. We used the City Hall conference room. We turned that into 2 offices, and then we turned a storage area upstairs into an actual storage area. There was a person in the kitchen on a desk. We got that person out of there and got him into an office. Our events, we our COPS events, community-oriented policing. We did National Night Out, a rib-off competition. Wheeler won last year, so I got to give it to you. He won the competition. So the competition, you guys are all welcome to join us for that. And our National Night Out event is August 5th. A whole host of things going on that day. That was. Yeah. I came in last. Are you going to say that? You want me to say that too? The first time ever I came in last, but he's not going to win this year. We do Coffee with a Cop. We do Reading Across America, the Jefferson School, read to the kids. We did the FFA. May the 4th be with you at the county. We did Winterfest with the Grinch. I was the Grinch. He will be back this year, so you know. We just did the Special Olympics torch run, and all of our supervisors, we now have a supervisor on every shift throughout the week, and they've all been post-trained accordingly. Our goals next year, we have 2 new trainees going into the academy. They will start orientation with the academy July 12th. They will start at the city July 14th. They start in the actual academy on the 21st of July. They will graduate December 8th-ish at the academy, and then they'll start FTO with us until April. And then we'll get them out on the streets full-time. We are looking into updating our computer systems. We're doing a 3-month trial for AI report writing. Everybody uses ChatGPT, but that's an open source program. We don't want to write reports on an open source program because it can obviously go out, and there's protected information on that we write. So the AI system we're looking at it's called Able. It's closed source, and it takes the information from your body camera. It's basically looking at your body camera and putting that on the paper. So we're currently reviewing that. And then we'll also be looking at a program to integrate all of our systems, CLETs, RIMS, Axon body-worn cameras into one. We're going to continue our COPS events. Hopefully we'll get to full staffing in April next year. We do have one in background right now, a lateral, which would fill that one vacancy that we have open. We're currently enhancing our Emergency Operations Center training for staff, and we're working on that training program for them. Currently, also with the county DEM coming in and doing some training. Our exercise was scheduled for July 22nd. That has been moved because our coordinator resigned. I don't know where she went, but Andrea Strongman. So we moved the exercise out to September, October. No date specified yet, but we're committed to do that. And that's going to be a joint operation with us, Windsor, and Healdsburg. We're currently in the works doing several direct enforcement, traffic enforcement operations. You'll see that here coming in pretty quick. We won't announce it before. We will announce what we did afterwards. So make sure you stop at the stop signs, you're wearing your seatbelt, you don't talk on the cell phone, because they're going to be out there doing that, right? Just so you know, I'm telling you. So our security improvements to special events, I have been looking into it. I am deeply concerned about, you always hear about these festivals and these cars running into the festivals and running over people. I'm deeply concerned about that. That's why at Friday Night Live, you'll see the trucks parked on either side of the boulevard to deter that. But I'm looking at something that we can deploy out there that Public Works can do. It's just going to cost a little bit of money, but I think it's a safety feature that we just have to look into. So, anyways, that's me.
Questions or comments from council?
The flock camera that you're going to put in?
Yes.
Do you have a specific location that you South Park down?
Yeah, so that's going to be, so the current location we're looking at is over by Starbucks. So we have northbound traffic covered, and they kind of they tried to do one camera to get both directions, but if you don't have a front plate on, it's not going to catch it. So you want 2 cameras in both directions. So we're having an issue with, I told them to put it on the light pole, or the street light that's there. And there were some issues with weight, and I kind of was a little upset because it was just taking so long to get it done. And there were some engineering issues, and I told them, if it's going to take 5 months, 6 months down the road, put it on the pole, let's call it a day. So, and then the other location, we haven't determined the other location yet. But I'm looking at a couple different spots.
How well is it done?
Oh, well? So I cannot tell you, all the agencies use it. Santa Rosa has, just tons of cameras. I couldn't tell you how many, but and they're getting more. CHP is going to them at all the off-ramps. For us, we have, we have a system that we have access to for their cameras. Officers have department cell phones that we issue them. So when we get a hit on the flock camera, it alerts their cell phone. And then so they go to that area where the hit was, and so they try and locate the car. Sometimes it's a stolen plate, stolen vehicle. It could be a missing person. It can be a person at risk. It could be a whole host of things. Like I said, we use it for a search warrant, to execute a search warrant.
Is that system tied into the Amber Alert system?
No, it's a totally separate system. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Chief. Our social media has been doing a really good job and getting a lot of traffic. It would be good to see some posts about the traffic enforcement operations, I think, shared with the public. And
Yeah, we will be doing that after we do it.
Okay.
That's why I say, just be careful, because we'll post that afterwards.
Okay, I think.
After the operation, to say we stopped this many people.
Okay.
We were out doing X, Y, Z. We will have, doing crosswalk stuff where we're going to send somebody around at the crosswalk, and if you violate it, we're going to stop.
Okay. I appreciate that.
And also, I forgot to mention, he will be the DJ at our National Night Out this year.
And we'll be sharing the decks that night.
Yeah.
Got something
We're
for
do a little competition.
That's right.
Be careful. I'll beat him in the rib off, and I'll beat you at DJing.
They'll be announcing my name. I just got a real quick question there, Chief, on the security improvements down there. I agree with you 100% on that, but like those what are you considering? I'm just curious, because we have the K-rails that we put out now, the ones you can put water in.
Yeah.
And we just move, we don't put water in them. Are you looking at something more better than that?
Yeah,
or-
so they have stuff you can string across, and it'll take so many feet to stop the car. And then there's, obviously the standard bollards that you can put in. But to use the water thing, you got to put the water in, and then you got to take the water out. And with our drought situation before, it just couldn't be. It's not practical.
Awesome, thank you.
Successful year.
It's going to be much more. So
Yeah.
that was just a little bit.
You guys have been killing it, and I'm thankful for all the bank robbery, the Sarah Gear case. You're looking at stolen vehicles, and a plethora of drugs and weapons have come out of those flock cameras. It's really cool to see, and I thank you for pushing it and making things better in our town, keeping people honest and doing all that you can. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to open it up to the public at this point so that anyone has any questions about the police section. Seeing none, Chief, thank you so much for your presentation. I didn't know we liked police that much. Sorry, Chief. Had to say it.
I don't expect applause from this one.
Well, after the ticket enforcement, I don't know if they'll be applauding you anymore.
So I can handle community development. It's kind of a very small department, but we've actually gotten a lot done. We do the planning commission, so we staff the planning commission. It meets probably 10 times a year. We do cancel some, but it's been busier. Of course, the vacancy ordinance, the circulation element, the active transportation plan. You guys all remember the RV parking. That was a big undertaking. The UGB amendment, and then just processing the everyday applications like Esmeralda. When a development project comes in, it comes to the planning department, we do the CEQA, or we hire the CEQA out, take it to planning commission. In a lot of cases, it does come to city council, depending on what the project is. So that's some of the things we've done. Things we're working on now, we've talked about, you may remember, we're talking about the objective design standards. That's where we're amending our design standards to meet with state law, where, you have to really be objective, and for lack of a better word. You can't say it has to fit in with the community and things like that. It has to be like, the wall can be 10 feet, the window can be here, very prescriptive things. We've talked about the inclusionary housing fee. That's about halfway done. Along with the inclusionary housing fee that we're amending, we're going to amend some stuff in the inclusionary housing ordinance, and I'll give you guys an orientation on what that actually is. I think some people know, we've talked about it, others may have not. We're going to complete the circulation element, which is about 90% done. We're planning to bring that to the council in July. There's a transit-oriented community policy. We're going to have a discussion about that. If we're willing to change some zoning, we may be eligible to get some grant financing. We don't have to get into it right now, but we may have to change a few things. In order to do that, we can weigh whether we think that's a good idea for our community. And then, of course, continue to process applications like Esmeralda. One last thing I'll just say about Esmeralda is they did agree to hire a planner that will be working for us as a contract planner. So they'll give us the money, and we'll pay that contract, and that planner will work specifically on that project to move it forward quicker. So that was, I didn't mention that last time, but that's something that they've agreed to. So we're looking forward to that, and that's it for community development.
Questions, comments? Anyone? Kevin, thank you. I know you were the Assistant City Manager, Community Development Director, and you've taken on that role twofold now. So thank you. It's a huge cost savings that we've made to our budget so far. I know there will come a time that this is going to change. However, we thank you for all the hard work you're putting in and making things happen.
Thank you.
Anyone in the public would like to make a comment about that? Hold your applause. Seeing none, go ahead. All right. Thank you, Derek.
Okay, Mayor, council members. So I got 7 slides to get through here. I'll wait for, you guys can have questions at the end of each slide. Probably be easier that way. And just to hit some of the high notes on the water, the South Crest tank for our water resiliency, we're putting a lot of work into that. We're hopefully going to have the design done 2025, and we're working with Cal OES. We've had 2 meetings with them so far, and we're kind of adjusting the scope to make it more palatable for them for grant funding. And we're looking for quite a sizable amount of grant funding, about 90% of the project scope. So we're hoping for that. Fingers crossed. Well 7 and 8, we've bid out the drilling, and we should see that soon. And we just had the contract on-site meeting for the topside stuff and the electrical. So that's all going good. We should have those 2 new wells fully functional and do a full load test on them next summer. So we'll put them into full production, and it should be going swimmingly there. The new generator, we currently have a 550 kilowatt rental generator running the water. Well, not running the water plants, but it's providing backup generation for the water plant, and the council approved the purchase of a new generator. We transitioned one of our utility workers into the water plant to give us that 3-man crew that we so much needed. He's going to be an OIT, and he's been there. And next year we'll see him. You see in the outlook, we'll see him transition to a full plant operator. So we're excited to see that. We'll have 3 full-time plant operators. So that really opens it up for us to do a lot of stuff. And just a couple of numbers: 362,667,000 gallons of drinking water produced in 2024. And when I did this back in April, we had 84,315,000 gallons of drinking water out the door of the plant to the customers. So that's not a small feat. These guys are there every day, all day. They're weekends. I mean, I know when they pick up the phone and I'm on the other end, they cringe because they're going to be working a long day, or I need them to stop doing something and go somewhere else. So they're doing great. Like I mentioned, the OIT, and then future plant upgrades. We had a cover for some vehicles and some tractors and stuff, and we're going to defer that to next budget year. It was budgeted for this year. We're going to push it over because our kind of use case changed, and we want to make sure we made the correct purchase for what our use case was going to be. We did also budget a new influent meter for the water plant, and with the new wells, we want to make sure this meter is going to communicate correctly with them. So we need to roll that over to the next budget, hold off, make sure the integration is going to be correct on that. And then we're going to see, we had along with the well project, we're going to involve SCADA upgrading, but we pushed that project, and we're looking to kind of put that onto the budget after the wells are fully implemented next budget cycle. So that's kind of a 1,000-foot view of what's going on with the water plant and the system. Questions?
Questions? Great. Thank you so much. Keep going.
Okay, now we'll move on to the wastewater. So every year we have about $200,000 devoted to maintenance of the collection system itself. And this last fiscal year, we did a lining projects. We did 915 feet of 6-inch, 718 feet of 8-inch, and 260 feet of 10-inch of burst lining in our sewer collection system. The treatment plant, it processed 304.9 million gallons of wastewater, which is pretty sizable. And then so far, as of May, we're at 135 million. The SCADA project, we went through a full scope, bid everything with and secured Telstar to do a SCADA project integration at 2 remote sites and redo the SCADA at the wastewater plant. So we're moving into construction phase on that, and hopefully by the end of this calendar year, we'll have that finished. So SCADA will be remotely accessible to our plant operators. And we'll have the 2 remote sites, the Baidu-Kali remote site and the Shehan remote site, integrated in our system. We also moved a utility crew member into the wastewater plant and hired him as an OIT. And for next budget cycle, we're going to see him, once he gets the certifications, which we're fairly confident he will, he'll be transitioning to a full plant operator, which will also put the wastewater plant staff at 3 full-time operators, which is very good. It also opens us up to get a lot of things done in the system and at the plant. We also are replacing the backup generator at the plant. We currently have one that went from the water plant to the wastewater plant, and now it's going to go from the wastewater plant possibly to the courtyard. We've got our use out of it, so we need to make sure that our critical infrastructure is getting backfilled with these new generators. So for this 25-26 upcoming, we have the OIT. We're hoping with that transition, we'll see that as an impact to the enterprise funds. We're a little bit early on the biosolids removal project. That's when there's solids in all the settling ponds and aeration ponds. We're a couple, almost, about 12 months sooner than we thought it was going to have. We do have money in the enterprise funds to take care of this. It's just the engineering and the RFQs for that and the environmental for that is going to come up to us really quick. And I'm hoping to get all the documents done by July so we can get that out the door because we need that done sooner than later. Annual collection system, there was one lining job that we couldn't get to because of groundwater, so we're pushing that off. And then we're going to do manhole epoxy coating and grouting, probably about 52 sites this year. So, and then obviously there's going to be the aerators that are going to need to go out and get rebuilt this year in the water plant. We do 1 or 2 a year. Any questions?
Questions from anyone? Why are the biosolids 12 months early or earlier?
I think it's a combination of the biosolids project that we did last time was set at a certain tonnage, not at a clean out, right? And this system, usage of the system. So it's just, we thought that they had got more out the last time they did it, but it seems that they didn't. So, and
So-
we're getting a little bit more migration inside the pond, so we gotta keep that to a minimum.
Is there anything that we can do to change that, maybe a better contract this time, or is it something that we can do at the ponds to make them a little more efficient?
Efficiency, no. I mean, the guys that are running the ponds now are pretty spot on with the sampling and calculations and how they're running that pond. I think it's just a more of a kind of, I don't want to say an open-ended contract this time, but we're going to, it's kind of a happy medium because you can't see what's down there, right? And so we're paying per dry ton of what we take out. So if we do a contract for a large amount of dry tons and they only take out a certain amount, we're kind of out of scope, so the dollar amount we're paying is going to change. So we want to kind of be just under what they're going to be taking out. So it's kind of a, and we're out there doing, I have the guys out there doing what they call a sludge judge. They take the cross section in a bunch of locations, and then we'll overlay it and see what the tonnage is when it's dried out. So that's hopefully if we get a good grasp on those numbers, we should be, but I'm thinking like 320 tons, something like that.
Wow. Great, thank you.
Okay. Continuing on to streets, we have the First Street CDBG project. That's a sidewalk gap closure. The design is supposed to be completed in July. I'm thinking late July because we did a couple of changes to it. But other than that, it's going very well. It's a CDBG grant-funded project. We've been doing since early 2024 street sign replacement program. So we order a huge amount of street signs. We'll order all the street signs in one whole intersection, and we'll start replacing them. And we're mainly concentrating on the Tarman track right now. Those really old faded street signs. I actually like some of these white and black street signs, but they're getting to be so outdated. We got to replace them with the greens. So we've got quite a few of those done, 13 intersections, and we're anticipating 15 more. It's not very costly, but it's just massively time consuming to take them all off and put them all back up. Our streets crew, we have a fully fleshed out streets crew now. All the positions are filled, so these guys are really getting a lot of stuff done. They're starting to do patching with hot mix. We've done Mayor Way, Tarman Drive, Jefferson. I don't know if anyone goes out to Lake Sonoma, but Hector and his guys did an amazing job doing a patch of hot mix on Hot Springs Road. They just did a shady lane in front of the CDF station, and down in there they did a really large patch there, and these are going to last a long time. So that kind of goes into our, our kind of semi-permanent patching theory that we kind of covered last fiscal year of getting our guys to do these hot mix patches instead of relying on cold patch so much. So for our streets projects going forward, we're just going to continue with hot patch. I tried to bid out the First Street slurry seal. We didn't get a lot of response from local contractors. It's just such a small job. So we're going to try to bundle that with some city parking lots and some other slurry jobs and see if we can get that to be a large enough job to get some significant bidders on. And if the more bidders we get, obviously, that we get a better cross-section of contractors with a better price. So that's good for everybody. We have 2 projects that are funded by Go Sonoma. These projects were granted to us a couple of years ago, and they collectively, the city's match on both projects together is about $537,000. So that's going to come out of Measure M. We are budgeting for double this fiscal year Measure M we got last. So it's going to lighten the burden, and we've saved, I think we have somewhere around $300,000. Kevin will let you guys know, or Susie, how much we have in the holdover for Measure M. It's somewhere in the $300,000 range. So we should be able to do these projects. One's a traffic calming project, and the other is a sidewalk completion project on the boulevard. We have a crack sealer. We're employing that in small spots where we can seal cracks. We're trying to maintain the boulevard and all that so we can get to these large bid jobs where we're going to crack seal the rest of it, but the stopgap is us. And then obviously we have a new striping machine, and we're going to start, they've already done it. They did the boulevard today, right in front of City Hall, but these guys are just going around town striping everything with it. They're doing a great job.
Questions?
Yeah, Derek, I noticed around town there's some fire hydrants. Is there a law that I missed that the curbs need to be painted red or they don't need to be painted red?
Fire hydrants should have all curb, that would be just locations where it's worn off so bad that we haven't got. Yes.
I know that you guys have been working on that a lot lately, getting to all the intersections around crosswalks and the fire hydrants as well.
Yeah.
Where they started in the school sites, for wherever the safe, I call them
Yeah.
soft targets kind of areas.
Right, yeah, we want to kind of get our safer routes to school locations done first, and then kind of move out to the rest of the city, because when we start going into the rest of the city, we start employing that AB 413, which is the 20 feet on each crosswalk a corner, and then we have to look at, do we have a crosswalk at the corner? Do we have amenities on the sidewalk for a crosswalk? Do we need to put a crosswalk there? And if we do, then we need to put the proper striping, so it's kind of like a kind of snowballing effect at these intersections, but we're working through it.
Nothing. Thank you for all the hard work on this one. I love seeing the striping and the curbs and making everything brighten and the street signs. Don't throw the old ones away. Keep them for your city.
Yeah, we have a big stack of them.
Great to see.
Next slide. And with everything, this public works slide, so all these departments are public works. They all work together. They all interchange. So when we talk about this PG&E turnkey program, a lot of work went into it. We completed all the city-owned streetlights are now LED, which is quite cost savings for us. The installation of over 3,000 smart meters in the system. We did farm that out to a company to install it, but the amount of curb stops, corp stops, leaks, boxes, sidewalks that needed to be fixed, and then there's a lot of locations where this company could not install them. We had to do it. It was just a staggering amount of work for these guys, and they just nonstop all last summer worked on it. So they did a great job, and we got over I think it was like 3218 altogether, which is a lot. During that turnkey project, we also replaced AC units at all the facilities with more efficient units. We've gone through, and the guys are doing a lot of sidewalk repairs. We're looking at having someone come and grind certain locations, but in multiple locations, like Main Street, they did large repairs, multiple tiles of concrete, and that takes a lot of the guys. They get a concrete truck and do a lot of finish. So we've been working through those. There's quite a few problematic spots that they're going to still continue to work on. Obviously, one of these big turning factors was the new public works superintendent, so that helps me a lot, so I can devote some of these bigger, more paperwork-heavy, engineering-heavy jobs. And Hector can be out there working with his guys, getting all this done in the day-to-day, which is just a breath of fresh air for me. Service calls, and this is 24 only, so well over 100 service calls, 50-plus curb stops and water leaks, which is quite a bit when you look at the amount of work that these guys also have to do with everything else in the city. And then so for our needs and outlooks, these are things that we're in the Public Works Department as a whole looking to roll over. One big thing, and I've brought this up at a couple of meetings and some budget stuff, so we're going to get some hard numbers for a TAC oil tank. We currently rent one every time we do hot mix. That's like a key thing. Public Works vehicles, a lot of these are going to be impact fee funded and enterprise funded. Once these service trucks start to get into the 22-year range, they're kind of the maintenance outweighs the keeping them. So we're starting to look at that. Rollover funds, we have an equipment trailer that we were going to purchase, but it kind of goes with we wanted to make sure the implements were going to fit on it correctly, that we haven't received yet, and make sure it's going to fit in that covering that I mentioned earlier. So we haven't ordered that. That's going to be rolled over. We have a ground maintenance utility vehicle that we're also budgeted. We're going to roll that over. We have a vehicle capital outlay, so every year we put capital vehicle money in to purchase new vehicles, and it doesn't seem like it's enough in a whole, so we've just kind of been rolling it over, and now it's getting to where we can start replacing some of these vehicles within. Obviously, the influent master meter for the water pump or the water plant. We need a new covering for the new generator. That's going to come at a different cost. So we did budget for that, but we're going to roll that over. And then we have a couple of implements for our excavator. And these are all things that all the public works departments are going to take advantage of using and having. So those are some of our rollover and unbudgeted items for the public works as a whole. Questions?
Seeing none?
I could have made the slides way longer, so.
But go for it. Here.
I just want to say, Derek, I know with getting, can you hear me? Hello?
Here.
Guess not. Yeah, anyways, I just wanted to say thanks to not only you, but to, we've got Hector in that new position. And boy, I'll tell you what, I see the guys running around town, and it's been brought to my attention numerous times. People are like, I'm not sure why town's looking so good, but it is. Because these guys are out busting their hump daily, you know, and I see them around town. They're constantly doing something. And now that we've got a full complement, these guys are killing it. So anyway, congratulations to you. Congratulations to Hector. He's really putting a lot of effort into a lot of the things that he knew were up and coming projects, and now he's got time for them, and so do you. So thanks, man. It's starting to look really good around here, and things are taking shape. So I appreciate it.
Perfect. Yeah, I appreciate those guys' hard work.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on that. The team effort that we've come up with in the past 6 months, you guys have done amazing jobs with it, and you see the difference. Everyone sees the difference, and I know that's what makes people want to work harder and do more, but it really shows the love in your community. You guys are killing it, so thank you. Any questions from anyone in the public? Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none. Last chance for anyone up here.
We got
Derek.
more slides.
You have more slides?
Oh, yeah. I got more.
Man, I was writing you off.
That's, okay, now we're done. Well, Public
Okay.
Works technically, Public Works does oversee the Cloverdale Municipal Airport. I do like the fact that we have the airport. I wish I could devote more time to it. I'm glad that we do have the people who care about the airport at the airport and helping at the airport. But we've kind of been neglecting it for a little while, pooling our money with the FAA. It's grant money that rolls over. So now we're at the point where we can start affording some of these projects. This fiscal year, I completed they call it the ACIP. It's a Airport Capital Improvement Projects, right? It's just a list. So it's a list of the projects we're going to do between 25 and 30, between 2025 and 2030. And it's a pretty extensive list, and it's going to expend all of our FAA grant money, but it's much needed things like drainage and lights and all that. Anything you can imagine, fencing, cameras. We're really trying to get the airport back up and running in good shape. So we've secured an engineering contract with CNS companies. They've done multiple airports in the region. They're going to do all the high-level engineering for the projects we're going to do. We've also secured over $80,000 for this upcoming calendar year to install the PAPI and the real lights. I'm not sure with the workload the FAA has if we're going to be able to get that done before the winter, but we're really pushing to do it right now. We did file CAT exemption documentations for CEQA for that because it meets all the criteria, and so hopefully that was the last hurdle before we really kind of see that money come in and get those projects going. So there's multiple projects, and the current one is on the website if anyone wants to go look at the whole list. We do have a new rental agreements that I promised Shannon that I would get done, and I will do it. We'd like to resurface and mark the designated parking areas. We're going to kind of open it up, do some vegetation management. We installed a new flagpole. We're getting a solar light for it, so we'll have an airport with a flagpole, which is great. Fences, gates, per FAA regulations that had came up a few times, so we're going to fix those. And then the rollover projects that we had budgeted that were outlaid in the ASIP, the infield drainage is the environmental stage, design stage, the PAPI and the realized design stage. Infield drainage construction, we're hoping for 26, 27, if everything goes right. PAPI and real construction, we're hoping as soon as possible. A new radio base station, we have some tenants that are moving, and so we're going to do some remodeling there and hopefully I'd like to get some type of pilot lounge area somewhere where we can store our parts for the airport, have a base station, and have an area for outreach. So, any questions on that?
Derek, I have a question about the drainage issues, and that's kind of caused by some flooding that happens in the winter. I know that there's some gravel issues along the Russian River, and there's a mining license that's needed to move some of that gravel. Some of the folks in the county and unincorporated areas are kind of seeking some changes in some environmental codes to be able to remove the gravel that might mediate some of that flooding. So just want to bring that to your attention, and maybe that's something that we could look into that might save us some of the costs of building some drainage.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, if we could, pull rock out of the river, especially the creek on the Chrome Iron Road side and the Russian River, that would definitely mitigate the flooding for sure. I'm not sure if that's going to be, which hurdle's bigger, right?
Yep.
There is current drainage, but the drainage backs up real bad because of, the water level and all that. So I think it may be a combination of both.
I'll share some context with Kevin.
Okay. Now, per recently, the parks is now part of Public Works, so I take no credit. This is,
Hey, Derek, Hector wanted me to make sure you guys know that he's really wanted to be here. It's killing him that he's not here, and he's at a basketball tournament with his daughter, so.
He's making excuses.
You know he would be here.
Another dad was working in Cloverdale today. So Hector, you know that you don't have to be in Brookings right now. We know what's going on. I was a father of a girl basketball player. I know exactly what you're doing.
yeah,
I know exactly what he's doing and where he's
I just
at.
want to, before you go, Derek, the parks have been one of the proudest things, I think, since I've started here. I mean, just all the stuff. It's just things that the community really appreciates, and Hector's passion, and we have a little bit of money, and we've stretched that money as far as we can, and we've gotten just so many great things. And he's worked here a long time, and he's like, in the last few years, we've gotten more done than we ever have. So it's just hats off to you, Hector. I know you're listening on YouTube.
So yes, as of recently, the parks have just came into Public Works. So wholeheartedly, I love having Hector in the Public Works Department. He brings to the Public Works what he has brought to the parks. And this is his baby, the parks. Everything on these lists, he has wholeheartedly done. I take no gratitude for, I didn't help with any of these unless he asked. So the dog park construction, that was a huge thing for the community. They asked for that for many years. Hector was able to cut costs for the project by having us do, our own water hookups, and he had the guys survey it, and he went out and made sure that we got the best contract prices and delivered bark. And, you can see it with the recently putting up another shade structure or putting up the original shade structure, making sure there's benches. So the detail and the love that he puts into these things is unmatched. Currently in progress, I've seen a lot of things on social media, the new playground at Ferber Park. That's a huge undertaking, and once again, he figured out ways to have it dropped off in one spot and different transportation as to where it made it more cost effective for the city for trucking and things like that. The acquisition of the Soda Springs Ranch.
We're almost done with the CEQA. We just met with the consultants. So once that's done, we have the trail, Redwood Trail Alliance ready to go to finish up the trails, and we're still saying mid to late fall it's going to be open.
So that was a big acquisition, and Hector being faced with his small parks crew to manage all the parks and that. Just the fact that they were ready to take it on, and then now with the help of the rest of the Public Works Department, it's going to be a great addition to the city. The Scouts Cabin, we're currently in negotiation with the Scope to remodel that Scouts Cabin with CDBG money. Hector's done a lot of work. He's got a really good plan for what's going to go there. The smart land grazing, everyone's seen all the goats and sheep everywhere. It's a very cost-effective way to do vegetation management in the city, and we've seen that at multiple parks and open spaces at the city. Porterfield Creek, open space, a lot of vegetation management, a lot of background and thought goes into that for these guys, where they're going to trim, what blocks they're going to do. The River Park, anyone who's been out there, it's looked better than ever. It's trimmed, it's good. We just got a contract done where with FEMA, with some hazard mitigation money, they were able to fix a sunken spot that was part of the 2013 storm, and they oiled the whole city side, the south of the Green Bridge. So it looks amazing out there. The 2nd Street Park, obviously the basketball courts are huge, right? That was a great addition to that park. The solar lighting is great for the evening, just kind of, it makes the park, I like the safety factor of it, just in that evening time. And then obviously everyone sees is the downtown plaza, how good that's looking. They just currently did some striping. They got ready for the Friday Night Live season. It was great. We do lots of events. We have 4th of July coming up. These guys put a lot of work into vegetation management, striping, traffic control, everything down there in the plaza to make sure everyone has a good, safe, fun time down there. Any questions?
Comments? Thank
Okay.
you. Hector, thank you. I know I joke, but thank you so much for all the hard work you do and the love you put into our city. These parks are amazing, so thank you.
And then so next slide, we have the goals for the Parks and Open Space. CAL FIRE.
Go ahead. I know this. So CAL FIRE has approached us about a potential grant that could really do a lot of vegetation management on the west side. The only caveat is we have to pay for the CEQA. We're going to be talking about that in one of our budget amendments. It could be, if it works out, it'd be some of the best money we could spend for what we would get on, for that grant.
Continuing on, the Scout Hut remodel, that's going to continue into the next fiscal year for sure. It's going to be a lengthy process, but it's going to be much worth it when it's done. We decided to go with the remodel of one gazebo there, and then we're going to go and build that second gazebo at the 2nd Street Park at the direction of the council and the infrastructure subcommittee. Batting cages at the 2nd Street City Park, much needed improvement. We're looking to redo the batting cages and also remodel the bathrooms there, which is the aging infrastructure. It gets a lot of use, so we're looking to get that done. Replacing the aging drinking fountains in town, and then incorporating the addition of water bottle dispensers into those. And then just continued vegetation management and all the open open spaces and parks. So now I'm done. Any questions?
Now you're done?
Yeah, I can do more if you want.
Anyone? Good? Oh. Thank you, Derek.
Okay.
All right.
Please, come on. Please come up. Excuse me.
The only real comment I have, and I guess I should introduce myself, I do live here in Cloverdale. My name is Kathleen Ingram. I am a senior, and I just want to say I'm glad I came tonight. One of the reasons I came is because of the Gay Pride celebration that was discussed. So I am definitely a supporter of equal rights for everybody. And I've learned a lot tonight listening to the reports from people. Like I didn't really know there was an airport, and I'm very interested in learning more about that and the history of it and so forth. And can I ask, is it being used now or?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Who uses it?
People in airplanes.
Yeah,
It's just-
okay.
Yeah. It's actually, go ahead.
Oh, skydivers, cool.
Yeah, it's a full municipal airport, so it's used constantly. You see planes in and
Okay.
out. The deal though is they turn to the east, and so you don't really see them flying over Cloverdale as much.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
most part.
also cool. So I've learned a lot, and I appreciate all the work that you guys do, and I'm going to have to come more often.
Well, thank
So,
you,
thank
and I
you.
hope you do.
Appreciate it.
Great, thank you. Very nice to meet you, Kathleen. You're next.
All right, I only got 2 slides. I'm going to go through them really quickly. Fortunately, as a city clerk, I work with the city council quite intimately, so you guys are pretty aware of what I do most of the time. So you can see my bullet points here. We did go through an election last year. That was a big accomplishment, especially as a department of one. It can be time-consuming and a lot of work, but I'm glad we got 5 qualified candidates, and we got a few of you sitting at the dais, so congratulations again. We completed my regular duties as assigned. Moving on to, we have a new records management software that you guys all approved in the last budget, and it's going to be operational this July, which will significantly help with public records requests. We have significant website updates throughout our site, a lot more to come. Updated City Hall lobby, if any of you have been in there recently, I've been doing all kinds of work to kind of clean it up, make it look a little more appealing and modern. We have this new council dais formation, increased social media presence. That's been a big one this year. We have an Instagram now. We hit 400 followers today. Hopefully we get a lot more in the coming months. And we updated a few internal documents like our forward calendar and a few things that have helped us organize internally as staff. A lot of other things I didn't list, but I want to go quickly. So City Clerk's Office PIO goals for next year. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me, and I'm kind of at an angle, but regular duties and functions like normal. Finalize our governance manual. I know that's been a request of council, which will also in tandem fix the outdated planning commission rules and regs. I'll be working with the city attorney on that as well as council. It'll be coming up to you guys soon. Creating some templates to help staff basically help us move quicker with our reports and ensure everything's timely and consistent. We're doing a lot of work with our records, working with a few contract agencies. Marketing and outreach, as you can see here, I need some glasses apparently, but basically we want to really reach out to all of the citizens of Cloverdale of all different ages. As you saw in last year, we did a lot of surveys, we did a lot of outreach into the schools and different things, but I want to keep that ball rolling and increase it as much as possible. As far as our website goes, we are updating each of our department pages. If anybody's been on our site, it's significantly cleaned up since the last few years, but there's still a long way to go. Our search functions aren't great. Each department has links that are broken. They have, our document library is crazy, but I'm going to be working with each department. We have them on the books right now for the next couple months where we dive in page by page, link by link, and we are going to be clearing out all kinds of old stuff. It's not meant to be archival. It's supposed to be updates and what's going on in the city currently. So that's going to be a pretty big undertaking. So is the intranet, which is not internet, it's intranet, something many cities have, but it's something that staff, council, other people will have access to, but it will give you things like our phone list, our HR forms, stuff that right now you have to go through emails or we have to search through our drives. It's kind of a pain. So that'll be really helpful. We'll be working with HR on that. And then we are forced soon, relatively soon in the next few years, but I'm going to be initiating the migration to a .gov website. We've already locked in the cloverdaleca.gov, but moving all of our current programs, softwares, every login, every email is going to be a huge undertaking with KLH and every department. So we've been it's on the back burner, but we do have a relative deadline on that, and that's something I'm going to be starting in the next fiscal year. And as well as a service request module operational online. Our website, I created one. It's not great, and we're hoping to have what we were paying for work correctly, but that's to come. Coordinate City Hall entrance upgrades. We got a few things going on outside. You'll see that in the coming days just to clean up our front of City Hall. The X Drive itself, that's our drives. It's cluttered from staff using it for the last 20 plus years, just organizing that. A lot of these, like I said, are implementing things so staff can work smarter, not harder. Coordinating some of the things that we're looking for monetarily. We'll talk about Sonoma County Mayor and council members' dinners. Those things are expensive. Exploring a new codifier and agenda management software. I'm going to be doing that in 26, 27, so I won't get into that now. And setting up a few other things, including some additional funding towards recreation, because I have taken the lead on that. And I'd like us to keep that ball rolling as well, but like everything, it costs money. So next, I'm going to talk really briefly about our student liaison program. We had some accomplishments in 24-25. We had 2 liaisons this year, which was great. $750 per student for this semester, or for this year anyway. We are looking at 25-26 getting another 2. I know I've already had a couple emails from interested students on how they submit the applications, things like that. So I've pointed them. We haven't received any yet, but we still got some time. It's summer, we understand. One goal of ours is to increase the scholarship to 1,000 per student instead of 750. 750 seemed kind of an awkward number, and like everything, school is expensive. 750 doesn't go that far anymore for college students, and we think that 1,000 would make it maybe a little more enticing. Hopefully that's something you guys are interested in approving. And basically we'd increase the fund to $2,500 annually for scholarship, supplies, and advertising so that we can help get more students involved. And that is all my slides, so I'll go ahead and give it over to the city attorney. I'll clap for myself. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'll be.
Let's go to questions right now for city clerk. Any questions? Seeing none. Anyone from the public with any comments or questions? Seeing none, go ahead.
I'll just say we were told a couple bullet points and to be quick, so I'm gonna honor.
Thank you for obeying the rules.
So just some quick highlights from last year. 2 major ballot initiatives, worked on those, getting them on the ballot and related materials. We also went through all of our labor negotiations and those MOUs to work with Shannon on those, and then department head agreements and city manager agreements, and then a whole slew of ordinances, vacant building ordinance, the RV parking, and a couple others. And the next year, you heard the big item really is going to be that Esmeralda development. It's going to move quickly, and there's a lot of moving parts on that. And then continuing to work with you all and the mayor on Potter Valley and issues related to Potter Valley. And then lastly, the council gave direction a few weeks ago to draft a mobile home overlay zone. So we expect that to be coming later. Has to go to the planning commission first, but coming maybe at the end of the summer to you. So with that, I think it's Kevin.
On the next slide.
Anyone have any questions or comments for the city manager? City Attorney.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take the slide as well. This is, I kind of wrote it on your behalf since we couldn't reach out to all of you, Brown Act rules and whatnot. But basically, one of the things that we're going to be doing is hopefully adopting a revised governance manual. By the way, I didn't do accomplishments. You guys have been doing a lot, approving a ton. Obviously, all of your accomplishments are each of the department's accomplishments. That's why I went straight to a goals slide. But I don't want to not give you a high five and hand. You guys have been doing a lot, and we really appreciate it. Go ahead and clap, everybody. Come on. Can't initiate their own clap. No, we appreciate you guys. All right, goals specific to council. Update council training budget amount and allocations. Like I've said, cost of everything is going up. That includes airfare, travel, conferences, just the fees alone. It's $650 to $700 or more for you to attend a conference. And so we are looking at changing that as well as how the allocations are built, potentially giving each council member a specified amount so that if you kind of use it, lose it, go over it, you can't go to other things. You got to kind of select what things you want to go to. And that's going to be up for you guys to discuss. Increase the Sonoma County Mayor's Council member hosting dinner budget, adopt pre-approved proclamation list. That'll be coming later this year for the next year. CPAC AV operational. I'm gonna pause on that one for a second because as you all know, this is getting very frustrating. The mics, the video, I know him up there is nodding his head because it is, we need to put some money into this. The simple fix aren't working. We do have our IT ready to, I've been meeting with them. They're ready to come in and also assist since they will be the ones maintaining the equipment. We're looking at changing their scope a little bit to be able to handle that, but all of that, especially through KLH, is going to cost money, whether we want to pull the trigger on a few of the suggested amount of upgrades. We had some sticker shock on that, but I think that we need to have council give staff direction on how exactly we want to proceed so that we can get this equipment operational. So I do want you guys to think about that and consider that. But coming up, there's going to be a section that just is basically we have PEG funds, which we're allowed to allocate towards this. And the budget amendment that we're proposing and I'm proposing is that we're allowed to use more of what we budgeted for this year and be able to potentially utilize all of those funds. And some potential general funding if needed. Increase the employee appreciation fund to account for inflation as well. City Hall facility upgrades. This is more talking internally. If you've walked in there at all, there's a lot of issues as far as some water damage, carpets, things like that just need some general maintenance that we do not have currently budgeted. So we're hoping that that can be addressed since we're not going to be getting a new City Hall anytime soon. And we did do the exterior last year, so that is a goal, or 2 years ago. But that's the goals that I outlined for you, but I'd like you to take this time as well. If you have any goals that you would like to add to this list, please let us know. I know we weren't able to reach out to everybody, so now's a good time to do that if you believe something.
Questions, comments, anything?
I have a goal. If we could somehow maybe ask the county for money or come up with money on our own to have on hand in case it's needed for the homeless, like if there's a bad storm and we need to put people in motels, or just to have some money standing by allocated for that.
Moving forward, maybe we should just put if we have sticker shock for the AV system as it is, maybe we should go ahead and put an RFP out and take care of it that way, if that's where we're going to go, or we're just going to stick around and deal with what we're dealing with.
We do have all the, coming up on I don't want to belabor it, but on the next couple slides, we have all the things that we're going to propose, so we can quickly run through those and see if council is on board. And that's one of them, along with some of the other stuff Mike mentioned. So Mike, you want to just go to the next one?
Yep, Kevin's going to go ahead and take over this slide.
Just human resources, recruitment, training, negotiation, just kind of housekeeping stuff, and labor negotiation.
Questions? All right, the fun one.
Okay, I'm just going to go really quickly through the finance department, the accomplishments. We are basically a support department for all the departments, but the main things that we handle are budget and audit, and those are the things that we're going to be measured by. So our audit was completed, and it was presented to the council in March. system implementation, the Neptune 360 and Express Bill Pay. We have training tomorrow. It should go live tomorrow night. We have flyers going out in the water bills at the end of this month. So everyone will see how you sign up, get everything going. You can set up your own bill pay, your own, the date you want. It's going to be great. So you can check out your usage and gallons and it's going to be great.
What day was that, possibly?
Tomorrow.
That's what I thought you said.
Tomorrow. So tomorrow, it'll be live. Tomorrow night, they'll get the first file. So we'll do the training and we'll say July 1st because that was my original. But anybody that wants to go on this weekend is more, they can do that. We'll have the link on the website with instructions on how to do it as well.
Are you here from the paper? I see you taking notes. Are you here from any newspaper or anything? Dang, I was hoping.
Let's see, the Bay Wren project, that was something that we've been discussing for a while. We finally came to a conclusion on that, and we are meeting with them next week to just finalize everything, get them paid. And the department is also working to streamline the cannabis permit fees right now, trying to take the annual fee and add it into the tax just to kind of reduce the overhead, the administrative overhead. That's the accomplishments. If you could go to the next slide. Next year, our goals are obviously to have another audit and presented. We want the full implementation, since it's July 1st, right? The full implementation. We will be also doing the 26-27 and 27-28 budget. If it makes sense, if not, we can do a one-year budget. We'll talk about that, see where it goes. This is the last year, July 1st, 2025 is the last year that our water and wastewater rate study goes through. So we will be doing another rate study just to make sure that we are collecting enough money for the enterprises and then to streamline the case.
That's good.
Okay, so now, speaking as the finance director, I just want to provide an update on the status of the general fund reserve with a particular focus on the unassigned reserve balance and its trajectory over the next couple years. The general fund is comprised of three components: unassigned funds, assigned funds, and committed funds. Unassigned funds are discretionary funds that can be used for any budgeted expense. Assigned funds are set aside for a specific purpose, and committed funds are reserved for strategic priorities and can only be spent with the council's permission. Okay, examples of these are vehicle and fleet replacement, building equipment repairs, and then the committed are contingency reserves and emergency response reserves. The assigned and committed reserves are incrementally increased annually when, after we do the budget. Any surplus, according to our policy, dictates how those are increased if there is a reserve. I say that just so that when we get to the next slide, you'll kind of have a better understanding. But so specifically looking at or thinking about the unassigned portion, in fiscal year 23-24, the audit results, I'm pleased to report that the general fund closed the fiscal year with $1 million surplus, largely attributed to one-time grant awards and fees. As a result, the unassigned reserve stands at a healthy 33% of expenditures, well within our target range of 25 to 35%. However, looking ahead at the 24-25 budget, we're anticipating a $1.6 million in unassigned reserve reduction, and this will bring our reserve balance down to 27%. And the 25-26 is also projecting an additional decrease of $809,000, and this will bring the reserve down to 22%, which is falling below the city's minimum desired threshold. By June 30th, 2026, the projected unassigned general fund balance will be approximately 2.5 million. It's worth noting that while the current projections reflect a downward trend, staff anticipates that revenues from the new district sales tax measure DD will help offset these declines. However, formal revenue estimates are not yet available. City staff will continue to monitor these trends closely and will provide updates to the council as more data becomes available. Mike, if you could go to the next slide. So the reason I wanted to talk about committed and assigned and how they increase is because you can see that the committed and assigned stay flat. That's because we have the 23-24 audit. That's where we get the funds. We don't know what the increase or decrease is going to be. So assuming that we're following our budgeted numbers, there would be a decrease, and so you wouldn't see a change. If you look at the unassigned, you can see kind of what we're going through. It's definitely a decline over the 3-year period. And then the total general fund balance is the committed and unassigned. So you can just kind of see we're not going in the right direction at this point. If we could go to the next slide. Unfortunately, the Water Enterprise Fund is kind of doing the same thing. They have a budgeted decrease of $2 million in 24-25 and $1.6 million in 25-26 with an expected ending balance of $3 million, which, although it is a 39%, it's their balance is 39% of their revenues. So, I mean, of their expenses. So they do have a reserve of 39%. Similarly, the next slide. Similarly, the wastewater enterprise also is forecasting decreases on both. They're planning to end 25-26 with a $1.5 million fund balance, and that is 35% reserves. Next slide, Mike. I think that's the last one. Yeah. That's the end of my presentation, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Okay, here's
Go ahead. Anyone? This side? Anyone on this side? This just shows, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to be very easy right now. We need to live within our means. Measure DD wasn't for filling budget shortfalls, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let it be that. So we're going to have to really make some serious decisions in the future, and we've been talking about it for 2 years, and it's time to really do it. So, unfortunately, we have a lot of money in good places, but we need to really start looking at how we're going to make those cuts.
Right, and the way I think Measure DD is going to is because the general fund has to fund the gas tax and the streets, right? And
Oh,
so-
I totally,
Okay.
absolutely,
All
I
right.
totally understand
I
that.
didn't want you to think
I want it to be,
planning it.
it was meant to be an over and above.
Okay.
Not just using it for what we're already doing. It's, it's, when we went out to the community, it was to, be able to pave roads and do things like that, and we knew we weren't getting that much, so we still have to do what we told people we would do. So if that means that we have to tighten our belt a little bit, that's what we have to do. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Anyone in the audience? Great, thank you.
Now, the next part's about spending money on that note. Mike, can you go down a couple slides? I think we should have done a different order here to the impact fee balance. It's like 2 slides down. Yeah, go up. So just a brief, for those of you who don't know, the impact fees are money that we collect from developers. So every time somebody comes to town to build a home or a commercial business, we collect money The purpose of that money is really to mitigate the impact of that new residence on our system. So we have been, in affordable housing projects do pay those fees, just so everyone knows that. There's other things they don't have to pay, but they do pay the fees. And so just, you can take a quick look here, and just, the use of these fees is restricted, so we can have Alex give us more detail on that, but it can't be used for staff. It really needs to be used for the mitigation, the impact of those projects. So you can just take a look here on the screen. These are the balances in some of these funds. So just to give you some context for what we're going to be asking you to consider purchasing and moving forward, a lot of those come from these funds. Mike, can you go back up too? So you can see here some of the things that we're proposing, and we would like to get your input on these. These are ones that, like I mentioned in the beginning, these are a little more developed, so we have dollar amounts. These are small things. A lot of those are paid for. Measure M is also another funding source, but you can see impact fees. So dog park ADA, Councilmember Morgenstern, I know you've been interested in this one. I'm sorry it's taking so long, but we haven't forgotten about it, and we are working on it, and we have a quote. It's a small one, $5,000. There's some talk of putting another gazebo at Second Street Park, kind of in the front, and that's going to really help us enhance our entrance to Soda Springs open space. We think that would be a nice jumping off point for that, and people can use that and use the open space as well. Drinking fountains, we talked about those. They're just old. They may not be ADA, I'm not sure, but they need to be replaced. Porterfield Creek trails, trail repair, that's Measure M. So none of these are hitting the general fund yet. The next one is Resilient Cloverdale, currently gets $10,000. They've requested an additional 15. Chief, I might call you up if there's questions about that. And, you know, they do a lot of work in the community for emergency preparedness and the block parties and the zones and all the awareness of the emergency preparedness. We do have our awesome appreciation party every holiday season. We've been really doing the best we can with the money that's provided. We're asking for a 30% increase, I mean, just to keep up with inflation. So the total for that would be $9,000. It's currently $7,000. We get a lot of donations. Redwood Law donated some stuff and others. So we do scrap together the best we can, but we're just trying to keep up with inflation on here. And then an increase for the student liaison program. Mike mentioned this, just to kind of keep up with inflation as well and to get more people interested in the program. So these are ones that, again, we can talk about these now, or we can go to the other ones.
One I realized that's not on here that we discussed was the recreation was requesting 2 more green. That would also be general fund.
How much?
It's 2,000.
Questions or comments on these items right here?
Let me check.
So you went the wrong way.
$1,000.
To make it an even 10. Again, like all these, those are requests.
That would be general fund.
So the next slide.
So go up. So you can see, we just want to get your input on these. If there's anything that you want to take off or potentially add, but if you are in agreement with these proposals, we'll bring these back over the next year with dollar amounts and just more information. Right now, it's just a kind of a quick yay or nay, and if you want us to bring this back, if you want to consider it more, we can do that too. But you can see a majority of these are paid for that impact fees, and the park impact fees are pretty healthy right now. So we can do these projects that aren't super expensive, and I think the community really is enjoying, and we're really not using taxpayer money. This is all money paid for from developers, and it's just been amazing, I think, what we've been able to do with them. And so we're trying to continue that in this next year, and some of these projects are reflected in this slide. So if you want to go back and talk about the other ones, or...
You have anything to say?
Oh, yeah.
Here you go.
So I see some things that we can possibly cut as, I would take a cut in council member compensation. If there's a party that's happening that costs a large amount of money, I would definitely like to see the student liaison program increased, possibly even more than what's recommended, and also recreation projects. I would also like to see an increase in recreation.
Thanks, Kevin. I think on the dog, like, we've got the dog park, the gazebo, drinking fountains. All of these are driven by a survey, especially the drinking fountains. That's something that the town wants to see. So I think we've got to stick with those. The gazebo on this page, the dog park on this page, and then also you go over to some other ones, bocce ball court and things like that. And the other one was a restroom remodel. Those are the big ones for me, is kind of putting the puzzle together of Porterfield, not Porterfield, but Soda Springs coming up and opening that in the fall. That kind of completes that package right there. If we have a new gazebo, it can tie into the recreation program right there, can be monitored, can be a rental, which will kind of lead towards the one that's been there for years of being a rental also. If people get in the habit of that kind of will up our rec program. Also, the dog park, same thing, ADA improvements, we need it. People are using it. If it's not ADA compliant, we've got to hit that and make sure that's compliant for all. And like the bocce ball courts, we have, the bag tosses are very popular over there, both Ferber and those. And I think we've got 2 old horseshoe pits that just look terrible over there. If we put bocces in there, you're going to see a lot of people hitting these parks. It's going to drive a lot of people to Cloverdale to use all our open spaces. We're pretty unique on how close our open spaces, whether it be Porterfield or Soda Springs, are in relation to the location of the city. And people are talking about it. They want to come up, they're excited for it. So I think all of those kind of are the puzzle. The other big one for me is the AV upgrades. That's got to get done. This what we're dealing with here. You can see it as a source of frustration for everybody up here when we have to delay a meeting or people can't record or this guy's jumping around trying to get mics or we're sharing mics. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. I think my personal opinion on that is, hey, I know we had sticker shock, let's get something that works in here. Let's get it up to this day and age and so we can push buttons and have these meetings. And then, other than that, they're all nice to haves, and in my opinion, I think all these need to be done. People shouldn't be coming to work and dealing with, city hall improvements, dealing with you saw the amount of work that's going on from all these departments and how city hall gets used. I would love to see them have a working, functional building to work, and it just makes the whole process go better. So I am on board with these right now. That's where I'm at, and where they're sitting right now. Student liaison, employee appreciation. It's all stuff that's got to get done, and we're dealing with inflation, so if it has to go up a little, employees need it. Student liaison, we need people here to do that. Let's do this. You know what I mean? So I'm on board.
Chief, do you mind if I ask about Resilient Cloverdale? Do you know why they're asking for the increase? I haven't been to the meetings in a while.
Yeah, so they did. Becky, she's actually on Zoom, but it's not working.
Sorry, Becky.
So they need to get out some more materials, like the tags that go out, the evacuation tags, update the zone maps and get those out. It costs money to do all that stuff. They're doing the Neighbor Fest this year. They want to do it on one day, a bunch of different neighborhoods with kits that go out to those. And it just costs money to get that stuff done and organize it. And Becky's doing a great job with that. And I'm helping her. And actually, the rib-off winner showed up at one of the meetings. But yeah, it's a lot of work that goes in it. She puts on these tabletop exercises for community members that are involved in Clove Ready to kind of show them what are the resources available. If an earthquake happens, these are the resources available. This is what you can do. Danielle Holmesy is always involved in that. Diana Holmesy is involved in that. She's helping us get our EOC done for the training for the staff this year. And so it's a lot of legwork in just kind of, bolstering the program back up. They did have, at one point, it was $50,000 a year. The budget cuts, it went down to 10. That's where we're at now, so we're trying to get back to, not to 50, but halfway there, so.
Thanks,
We
Chief.
we already have budgeted $10,000, so they're asking just to go to another 15 to bolster the program.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. One thing that, I mean, I don't know where, no, I'm sorry, not for you, sorry, Chief. One thing I always look at is how far in deficit are we? And, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be in a seven-figure number this year. And so we really need to look at what we're spending money on and back it off. I know that we've had some good times spending and getting new things. The impact fees, things like that, I get that. But when we start looking at general fund money, we have to go with the wants and needs at this point, because if we keep living the way we are, we're going to start failing like everyone else. And every city is going through this right now, and Cloverdale hasn't had to. We've been growing off of everyone else and doing a very good job. So I would ask that you guys really look at what each department truly needs or what they really think that they want, and let's really tighten down a little bit to see what we can take off of these lists. And not just these ones, because obviously these are different, but your full budgets that get brought to us and say, hey, look at, if we have to get rid of a seven-figure number, where are we going to do it from? We have to be realistic. Questions from anyone at this point? Next. Sorry, doom and gloom, now I gotta go again.
Well, that's kind of it. I mean, we just wanted to get your thumbs up or thumbs down on the, first of all, the first slide, which, a lot of that's impact fees, but some is general fund for sure. So.
Kevin, do you think we should move just really quickly one by one, just so we know, because we're going to be sending these back to you with budget amendments? Or do you prefer to have, otherwise they'll all be new items, or they'll be, because if it's a budget amendment, it could be a consent calendar if you give us kind of a.
You want us to go that far into it? Give us a sec. Sorry, let me get back into this then.
Is that what you'd prefer, Kevin? Or?
It'd be nice to get direction. I mean, if we could say, is there any one of these you want removed, or do you want to just go through each one and thumbs up or thumbs down?
We could do that.
Okay.
I'll just call them out, each one, if anybody says no, say no, or the dog park ADA improvements. Yes. Second Street gazebo. Yes. Anyone else have a comment, anything? Waiting? Yes, no, yeah, okay, sorry. Downtown drinking fountain replacements.
Something else we can shift that to.
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
Being that that's impact fees, if there's something else that we could shift it to.
So impact fees won't come out of our general fund and doesn't affect the budget. It's so.
If the money's
What
there.
do you mean shift it to? I'm sorry, I was looking at Kevin so that we make sure we understand. Nope.
Impact fees are, the impact fees we're proposing to use for this were specifically for parks, and so it's probably the best funding source. Again, it's from the developers, it's not hitting the general fund, and that's what on these projects, that's our first thought, is how can we pay for it not using the general fund and still following, the rules for the money, and we think we're in line there, so impact fees would be the best funding source for this, in my opinion.
Trail repairs. Resilient Cloverdale request. I'm sorry, what was it? There you go.
It shifted.
Nice fade in. Resilient. Yes, no.
I think we could cut that. I mean, not the whole thing, but maybe we could just increase that by like 10 to 15,000 instead of 25,000.
So we already give them 10. It's budgeted for 10, so they're asking for 15 more.
Well, then maybe we could give them not 15 more, but, like 10 more. Like not
Not
everything
quite
they want.
25, but
Yeah. They're very important, but we're trying to cut the budget.
Councilmember Lasky?
Yeah, I would say on the facility in Cloverdale, we just need a budget breakdown, basically, to see, if, say, with Councilman Morgenstern, another 10,000, double their budget, and see where that gets them.
Okay, that's enough. So maybe ask them back to the sharpening their pencil a little bit and see what they say. Or show how the money's going to be spent. I'm sure Becky's still on and was listening, so. Employee appreciation increase, that's for the, go ahead.
My thought on that is, I think maybe we could increase that by 1,000 or 1,500, and we can, I think a lot of the pizza gets wasted for the children. Maybe we could get something else that's reasonably priced that the kids would like maybe a big vat of macaroni and cheese, I don't know. But the pizza seems to just kind of sit over there and get wasted, and it's expensive. So that's my thought on that.
I think employee appreciation, I think it should go the definite 2,000 on that one. I mean, these guys are out here, they have one party a year, it's the holiday party. You've got a lot of people donating and trying to make that happen. They make it happen every year, and I think that would ease it up a little. I know it's coming out of the general fund, but these guys, look what they're doing for the city year-round. We give them one night, and I think that we should all, one, participate in that, and two, and upgrade it for them so they can catch up with whatever inflation's out there, whatever fundraising. That party's a good time, so, I'm willing to let these guys bump that up, definitely.
I agree with our vice mayor. Maybe it's something that we could look at on specifics and see if we can get a better bang for our buck.
I was going to say, historically, since I'm newly elected, I don't know what the cost of that appreciation party is. So if there's history on it, and then if that's the range, the $7,000 is what we're spending. And if we want to jump it up, then I'm for jumping it up. But I don't know what the cost is.
It was 7,000 last year.
Say 7,000 is what we're using now, and as we said, that barely pays for it. Staff they're the ones setting it up, cleaning it up, even though it's their appreciation party. So part of the goal is to also help implement a way that it's actually an appreciation party, not a more work. And then it's, like we said, we really do rely on donations from the different contract companies that we work through for as much as we can. But yeah, the prices of venues, everything else just costs so much money, and we don't have a site that we can utilize for free or anything. So.
Yeah, I'm not opposed.
I think what would be nice with this is we do put it in there, but if people can get more donations and things like that, council maybe can appreciate the staff a little bit more with a little bit of a donation out of their pocket around that time to help fill that gap would be a great thing, and I would definitely be willing to do that to
It does
help
go to
out.
9,000. It doesn't mean we have to spend 9,000.
Right.
It just
It
means
just
that we
means you're up
actually
to.
potentially,
Yeah,
we're always looking at different vendors. We're looking at different ways to make it more affordable. But
Go ahead, Suzie, I see you. Oh, gotcha. Okay, and then the next one is the student liaison.
I wanted to comment on really not there a lot of the time. So, like 1,000 I could see, but giving them any more money when they don't really put that much time into it, I just think 1,000's plenty.
Well, with that being said, I was going to touch on that point. If you're going to increase that budget, there needs to be a quote-unquote a job description, basically, that lines out what the responsibility is, what the council expects, and what the city should hear from what's going on, monthly by monthly, so that they know that in order to be compensated at the end for their schooling, they need to put the time in.
yeah, and we do have a joint city school subcommittee coming up. I think that'd be a good agenda item to add on there to help update that description. I know we had requests from council this year for them to, if they can't come, to provide a written comment And so that was something new, I believe, last year. We started adding that to the agenda. We wanted them to treat it more official, like they are acting as a member of staff for that item, as well as attending things at the end to, kind of what can be improved on the program, things like that. But yeah, it's not a new program, but we're definitely trying to adapt it. And I would agree with that if we're going to, I think that's worth it.
So I hear more expectations if more money.
I also agree with Councilmember Lasky. I think having a good description of it is helpful. I would like to see that project grow to possibly the liaisons can organize maybe a student forum or a student panel where we have youth sitting on the dais here speaking to our community and letting the community know what they would like to have. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to even grow this program and maybe even see that amount increase.
If it does go to if you're okay with agendizing that for the joint city school, I don't know who's on that off the top of my head, but I can definitely add that as a recommendation from Councilmember Lasky and from Marquez.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. It's the Second Street Park restroom remodels out of impact fees. I was in there this week. It's the exact same tile and urinal that was in there when I was 6. Yes. And so I know even the light frames are the exact same ones. So they've done a great job maintaining them. They've lived their life, okay?
I mean, just a real quick note on the ones on this slide, you don't have to make a final decision. We'll come back with numbers and you can talk about it more. It's just if there's anything objectionable on here or.
It's more of what we could say no to, or really don't want to put the effort into.
Mayor,
Check.
forgot to mention before we moved on from this last slide, since recreation isn't on here, the requested amount was $4,000.
And when you say recreation, can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so right now, we've had 2 programs this year, which was basically archery and pickleball. So it's advertising to get more instructors. It's the time that it takes to get instructors onboarding. It's the time that it takes for programming itself. I'm doing it right now. There may be budget amendments in the future on how we can figure that program out as more programs come online, because it is very time consuming. But the software itself, the registration software, costs, I think it's about $6,000 of that budget. And it goes up in next year, I believe. It was only a 2-year locked-in thing. It's going to go up as well. So it's kind of just keeping up with the price tag of being able to do that. And then as well as buying program stuff. Like last year, Hector and I went through, and with the budget we had, we bought a whole bunch of basketballs. We bought a bunch of dodgeball stuff for the programs that we want to have coming up, that we can actually have those programs. But all that kind of equipment, basically the athletic equipment, costs money as well. So for us to be able to have those programs and offer things for our instructors to be able to, you want to have a big yoga class, it's tougher to get somebody to come in who's willing to teach. And they also have to provide their own yoga mats and their own cleaning supplies and their own, so if we have that, that's coming out of that $10,000 budget rather than a $6,000, which the majority of is going towards software right now anyway. So it's mostly that. It's not necessarily the administrative side of it, because being a salary employee, that's not affecting it. That's more time. But the equipment itself and the programming and getting instructors onboarded just takes time and money. So hopefully by upping the money, we'll up our volume of programs as well and our ability to host more instructors, because we have the equipment to be able to do it.
I want to say one thing, as somebody who's taught yoga and done a lot of yoga, people really should be bringing their own yoga mats.
True. That was just one example.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to those, but there's a lot of the programs, the different events we want to have. Like we've talked about trail runs and 5Ks and different events that are put on by the city, and those just cost money. They cost a lot of money. So even if it's not something we use every year, if it's a way to build on itself so that we can, there's a lot of opportunities I'd have to talk to finance on, but it's just a suggestion.
I got one thing real quick, Kevin, Mike, I don't know who, so kind of falls into the same as this new, kind of ramping up the program to put in the new gazebo, bocce ball courts and all that. And I know at one time we were talking about when we do have these gazebos, the existing one and possibly the new one and all that, and people can register to rent those and pay a fee. How do we set up that program to, one, monitor, collect the fees, and make sure that We're not just having, because as it's set up right now, you can go over there in the summer at 4 a.m. and there's a, it's mine. You know what I mean? And mitigate that a little bit and actually collect fees for these things and get the parks going.
Yeah, so part of our software that's good about the recreation software that we purchased is that is one of the modules on it. Right now, there's program modules, so classes, and then there's a whole registration for rentals. And currently, we have it set up through another program, but there's only like one or two, and it's a little tough to do it. Where I've talked with Hector, we want to go around to each park, label the tables, make them all reservable based on how, every park has different formations and whatnot, so it'll be different fees and whatnot. That'll obviously have to go through you guys' fee schedule, all that kind of stuff. But basically, yes, we want that to become a way that people aren't just having to show up at 5 a.m. when it's still dark, put all their stuff out and say, I have it. It's
Right.
like, no, not anymore. If you want to secure it, rent it through the city. Most cities do that. It is a viable way of, I wouldn't say passive income, but in a sense, our guys will go out there. We'll have to buy kiosks because you have to post which ones are rented so people are aware of it. But for the most part, it is an opportunity to make money, and typically that money goes into the general fund, whether that's allocated towards recreation or something like that could be an opportunity. But it is something that we've explored. We've not been able to implement just timing, but I think that that's something that hopefully, well, I don't want to put a time limit on it, but
Well, it also showed, there's a little bit more accountability. If, you come down there and you have a big party on Saturday and you've paid money for it, you're going to clean up, which takes a little way, the staff time now. Poor Hector and his guys are out there, and that's in the summertime on a Monday sometimes. They're spending half the morning cleaning up after a party, and there's nobody to hold accountable for it.
we definitely want to explore the rates, but those gazebos, I know, for example, like I used to work in the Parks and Rec department in Santa Rosa, the ones at Finley, at Howarth Park, those gazebos for parties, they're booked all weekend. They're booked on weekdays. The parties, the normal picnic sites are booked like crazy. And it's definitely a monetary potential for the city. And it's something that program would definitely be able to help offset that program itself that we're not utilizing to date.
Thank you.
Anyone against this? All right. Next one is the bocce ball courts.
I think we need to, that'll complete that park.
Let's see what that comes back as a cost, is how I look at it. I mean, these are all coming back with costs, so it's.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think now's the time to say no unless it's an absolute no. Citrus Fair Drive Marquee.
To me, that's not that important. I feel like we have sufficient signage as is, so.
Where would the sign go?
This is something that's been in the works for about 5 years. It would go right now, well, there was an agreement with the Citrus Fair, Alexander Valley Healthcare, and the city to put it on the corner where the Citrus Fair sign corner is, right there, in that area. But nothing's set in stone. They have new leadership. This is kind of like bringing up what we already had agreements on that's not there anymore.
Okay, so.
So basically, the Citrus Fair wanted to replace that brown, rock structure that they have.
Yep.
And put up a big marquee sign that was digital, that you could see from all directions coming into Cloverdale. And you could do all your advertising on that, instead of lining up on the fence with banners and stuff like that. And city was going to partner with them to do that.
So
That's where that came from.
was it like a 50/50 on the purchase and the electricity?
No, the city 5 years ago had a set amount up to that they were willing to put into it, but no one ever priced it out completely. And with the city's cooperation back then, it was, and I'm sorry, I'm going off of past stuff.
Yeah.
City's cooperation with money was going to get us the advertising as we needed it. That's what that was.
It's a good improvement. I like the idea, but just, I want to make sure that wherever we put it, it doesn't turn into an easement thing where somebody changes their mind and says, well, now that's our sign, and we're gonna program it how we want to program it. I'm a little leery about the placement.
Completely agree. Go ahead.
Can't they afford to do their own sign, the Citrus Fair, without our help?
They could, but then we would be paying to rent it
Oh, for when
as we
we're doing
advertise,
things.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you have skin in the game, then you can usually get things cheaper in long term.
Yeah, But maybe we could pay like 25% instead of 50 or something.
There's no set amounts yet.
Okay.
We don't even know. It's just whether we want to be part of it or not, whether to make those discussions or not. They have new leaderships. We don't even know if they're even, it's an option. It's just something on here.
Okay.
I mean, I agree. I think, just thinking about this, and, you know, right now you look at this at a quick glance, I'm on board with everything, but I also see the to be determined. So I think, yeah, right now, heck yeah, this list looks great until I see some numbers. You know what I mean? So we're kind of, to me, we're spinning our wheels right now until we have, these are all something that the city needs, absolutely. But if I don't know the price of it, then
Well, it was just like, do we want to, does staff want to spend effort on them?
I think on these, yeah, I think it'd be great if they came up with the numbers for it and brought it back. Then we can nitpick it and say, no, you know, so.
I would, the only thing I would personally, I mean, do you want to go? I saw you looking, so.
I agree with the rest of the council on this for the sign at the Citrus Fair.
I'm just going to go through with the rest of the list. I don't think there's anything that anyone would be absolutely against at this point. Looking, the one thing I would really caution is the public works vehicles. I really explain why we need them and be thoughtful of that when it comes back to us. Same with the AV upgrades. I know that I saw the sticker shock number, so hopefully we can do better. And I think the RFP will help a lot with that if we can get it
And
out there.
that's partially because I'm looking for direction. KLH is interested in doing it. They'll give us a scope as well. I think, at least my recommendation would be to get that first before we open up an RFP to the public.
Yep.
Or to vendors, since they are in-house.
We're already in-house and
Right, and we're
paying
already
for your
paying
buck.
them. But, you know, yeah, depending on those numbers, and I've requested that we get them as soon as possible because I know we all want this done 4 months ago, so. We're working
No,
as soon
I
as-
agree. If they could come up with something that said this is what it would be, and it was way better than that other price, the needs versus wants.
I know I'm hoping to get that before we have our July meetings canceled. So I guess we wouldn't necessarily get approval for that until the July 20-something meeting.
Unless it's under a certain amount,
And that's
something to think about, at least
Alex,
portions.
how that would work, if there's any other way to spend it. Because right now, we're only budgeted X amount of, I think it's 10 grand or 20,000. Susie, correct me if I'm wrong, for PEG funds. We have more in the account, and we're hoping to utilize more, but I don't think we can without a budget amendment being approved by council.
You'd have to call a special meeting, I think, on that one. What?
Unless there's-
Probably, we can look at it and figure it out.
We can also,
really only if
we can also break it up over different periods and have it approved in the future.
Yeah.
I see you. One.
I think with the AV situation, one of the things maybe we could look at is breaking up the equipment separate from the charge that somebody would implement it. There is a company, Sam Ash, out of Florida. There's no sales tax in Florida, so it could be one of those things. We can call an agent there. They'll give you 15% off the price, free delivery, no tax, and it could be that we can knock off what we're being quoted on just the equipment alone if we purchase that separately.
Go ahead, Susie. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything shipped here, we pay our own taxes.
Okay. No.
Okay.
I think mine, because I've had, I've had discussions with most council members. We all want the same thing. I think Kevin and I are just looking for a little more definitive direction on how council wants us to proceed spending the money, so that we can actually try to get something done before the next council meeting.
I think KLH would be great to see what they come back with.
Yeah.
And
KLH and see.
what's it called, Crossfire? Is that the name of the?
Yeah, John, yeah.
He's been reaching out
Crossfires.
again, wanting to come in and work on it. He's reached out 3 times to me, and I've ignored him.
I mean, no offense to him, I've reached out 4 or 5 times and got no response.
That's why
I think that's a valid
tit for
response right
tat.
now. But yeah, if we're willing to go back, I'm again open to any suggestions. I just want the definitive direction so that we can proceed one way or another.
See what's going on.
Start there, and if it's unacceptable, then we have to move.
Okay.
That's a good direction from everyone? Does that sound about right?
What's the final direction?
Just right now that they're going to reach out to the in-house KLH that we have, and if the numbers come back sufficient, then they can work on it. If not, then we'll have to do the full process.
RFP?
And then we'll be, into August or September before it gets done. But it is what it is.
I don't know what numbers they'll come up with. Obviously, they'll have to come in here and do the same kind of thing, evaluate the system. One benefit that when I spoke to the owner of the company or supervisor, is that because they are, as long as they are our IT, they'll be able to maintain the equipment where somebody like, that's the issue we ran into with Crossfire. Once we came out of the, it was a 2 or 3 year scope that they'll hold warranty on it. Once that ran out, we never heard from them again. And that became what's really frustrating. So we have to find other vendors where if we do go through KLH or if they help, install it or maintain it, even if somebody else helps purchase it or any of the other options we have, if they're involved, they can at least help ensure it's maintained and operational for the lifetime that we have KLH as our IT company. It's one benefit.
If KOH is within our budgeted amount, we'll just go for it.
Yeah. Bingo.
And if we have to do another part in the second half, because we're going into a new fiscal year, we'll do that.
Anything else on this?
I wanted to talk about the mayors and councilmen.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think the mayors and councilmen's dinners are really important because it's a great place to network. The dinner meeting is important, the meeting beforehand where people are picked for regional positions. It's good to get to know everybody in the county, especially, when people are running for assembly, we get to figure out which candidates we want to endorse. And just going to my first mayors and councilmen's dinner, I learned that Petaluma was changing laws about mobile home parks, and I realized how important that was. So it's really an opportunity to learn things, and I think we did really good on the last one because we didn't even buy flowers for the tables. The mayor planned the whole last one out mostly by himself, and we had citrus on the tables, which was beautiful, and so it's nothing I want to skimp on because we want people to come to Cloverdale to our meeting and our dinner, and we want to keep networking with all the mayors and council people in the county, and the meetings are really important.
See heads nodding. So I don't see anything else on this list that anyone's worried about. So I think that you put in the effort that you feel is necessary to bring back to us. Anyone in the public have anything else to say on this item? Anyone on the council, last chance, go ahead.
Just really quickly, Council Morganson, you brought up an item, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but was that addressed with the council to move forward with? It was one of your goals for council.
Oh, was it the goal to try to get some money for the homeless?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you consider that? It was just because it's not listed.
And I'm talking about if we could get some county money, because other cities do get county money, we don't.
So look into grant funding for that through the county?
Yeah, just so we have some slush funds to help.
So
the
that wouldn't have
homeless.
to be something budgeted, but that would be a future agenda item for us to
Sure.
work on through probably one of our subcommittees.
Sure.
Right.
Sounds great.
Yep. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, with that, we will move on to the next item.
So this item
Okay.
is the request from Council Member Morgenstern for the creation of a senior ad hoc committee. We discussed it at the last meeting, so if you want to proceed, we would just need a motion. And, yeah, that's it.
Have comments?
Well, seeing that I'm one of the senior council members, I'd like to be part of that ad hoc.
And I would too. It's something that's very close to my heart, and I want to try to do the best for our seniors in Cloverdale.
And I want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
You've been doing a great job and working hard, and this is a great topic, and so it had to take a certain path to get here. And it worked very well, and I look forward to it. And so does your senior center and everyone around you. So is there anyone that would like to make a motion on that, or any further comments?
A question, would this be, the ad hoc is there to create a subcommittee eventually, or would it just be a part-time ad hoc to get some of the subjects here that are in the report going?
Well, it would be a part-time ad hoc committee for now, and then we will see where it goes in the future. Yeah.
I support it. I'd like to make a motion.
I'm going to go to public comment real quick. Anyone in the audience have any public comments? Great, seeing none, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion for the creation of an ad hoc committee to discuss senior citizen items.
I'd like to second that motion.
We have a first. Yeah, that would be on.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion for the creation of an ad hoc committee with council members Morgenstern and council member Lasky for the discussion of senior topics.
Second.
I second that.
That, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to I, the Potter Valley Project. It's a standing item for council to discuss the Potter Valley Project on an ongoing basis. Does anyone have anything you want to talk about on it first before I go? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, I'll follow up.
You'll follow me? Okay. We've been doing a lot of work here at the city with the city staff, the attorney, the vice mayor, and I. We've met multiple times with Sonoma Water, and we have some good negotiations and things going forward. The county and state are offering up some money to help us pay for a bunch of surveys and engineering reports and studies on groundwater. We recently met with a very high-ranking state official that Gavin Newsom sent here to work with us, and we had a very good conversation. They're looking at ways that they can help us because they know that we are going to be in a pretty good shortfall here, and so they're looking at multiple ways that they can help us fund water sources, water resiliency, and anything else that we can do with in-stream maintenance. That's one of the major topics to work on the gravel and the Arundo and things that go on in our riverbeds. Anything else besides that, I'm gonna not put out there yet to the public because there's a lot going on. There's been some good paperwork and things that we've come across that is going to help us in the future, but it's not made to be public yet. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I really wanted to thank you and the vice mayor for all the work that you're putting into this, and I know it's taking up a lot of time and it's stressful, but I just wanted to say thank you for the wonderful job that you're doing.
Yeah, I'd like to also thank you, Todd, for the work you're doing, Brian, for helping out and everything that's going on behind closed doors. I would caution the public and everybody to not read into the hit pieces you see online. They're just trying to steer you in one direction. I can read through the lines on some of that, I want to call it propaganda, but it's misleading if you don't have all the facts. And we don't have all the facts. That's why we sent Todd to be our front man, and he's dealing with facts. So I appreciate what you're doing there. And like I say, I follow up on it. I ran my campaign on it. So I'm duly noted on what's happening with the water. And I see whose best interests are at hand and whose best interests are not. So I want to thank Todd for all you're doing.
Thanks, sir. Go ahead.
Just following up from our last meeting with the proposed presentation from Russian River Property Owners Association. I think, again, I want to make the statement, I think it would be good to hear from them regarding the proposed Alexander Valley Water District. There was a previous presentation before by David Tabor, which was just kind of a basic overview of the Potter Valley project. So that was the future of the Russian River water. We both attended the one at the Democratic Club. So I think hearing from the Russian River Property Owners Association would be good for our city, so they're not surprised by anything that might come up in the future. There's going to be an ad coming up in the Cloverdale Connect next month. So I think might be a good opportunity for us to, see what they're doing, possibly collaborate on some things. There's Ukiah has a newly formed water authority, Ukiah Valley Water Authority, which does contract with the city of Ukiah for staffing, operating, and management services. So I think there might be some opportunity to at least see where we can work together and negotiate directly if there's things that we're competing for.
Great. Vice Mayor, anything?
I just want to thank, the mayor, I want to thank Kevin, and I want to thank Alex on this. there's a tremendous amount of work going into this. Thank you for mentioning my name, but the mayor and these guys are really in it. I'm attending a few meetings, jumping in when I get the invite and all that, and trying to play catch up here. But there is a lot of work going in from all of these guys. So have faith in them, and like Councilmember Lasky said, and just be careful what you're reading out there when it comes out in different papers and all that. We do have a lot of information that, like the mayor said, is not going to be out for people right now, but it's kind of building a package. So anyway, just have faith in the mayor, and I appreciate what you guys are all doing on this. It's a lot of work. It's very time consuming.
I promise as soon as I can make it public in a respectful way, it will be, and in a fair way to everyone, because we're working well with partners like Sonoma Water. It's been great, so. We'll move on to, if anything else, Kevin, Alex, anything on that? Anyone in the public have any questions? We can give a couple clarifying questions if necessary. Seeing none, we'll move on to subcommittee reports. Anyone have any subcommittees? I think everything was canceled this past month.
Yeah, I have a subcommittee report. This was June 19th. Through Zero Waste Sonoma, they hosted a tour of the MRF, the MRF. It's a Materials Recovery Facility. This is down in Santa Rosa, where they receive all the items from your blue bins. They do manage to recover 88% of the items. 12% goes back into landfill. So that was kind of interesting to see all the items and how they sort things and resell them. And I do have these sticker labels. These are for your recyclable cans, and these are going to be available at the Cloverdale Chamber of Commerce for local businesses to pick up. And I might be doing outreach talking to businesses directly while I'm going around town. So those are available for the local businesses.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to council member reports. Anyone have anything?
Yeah, still, like I say, in the background, I'm still working with the representative from Vulcan Mining. So that project's still moving forward in the background. And there's some, I know we had talked about the Boys and Girls Club, and we had talked about the issues surrounding that. Apparently now, once again, public information, there is an offer on the Boys and Girls Club, and offers through is an NDA on it. So we're just going to kind of sit back and see what happens with that.
Yeah, we're going to report. I did attend a webinar presented by Well. It's on recycled water. This was a key to a resilient water future. Certain things were discussed, such as personal wastewater treatment and hot water circulation. And these could be something that you would have personally in your own home. Could be something that we add to our standards for our future builds in the city. It might be a way to really conserve water, and then also limit the amount of our carbon footprint of the water that we're sending to our waste treatment.
Just I finalized the head count with down there at the Air Board. So we have a tour of the geysers. Head count was a total of 6, and it's on the 31st of July. It's going to be an all-day thing, leaving about 10:30 from Healdsburg, all the way up and coming back at 4 p.m. All transportation, all that's going to be supplied. But it's going to be a pretty informative for the new geothermal projects that are in the works right now. So it's going to give everybody a chance to go up and check it out. So you are there, 6 of us. Let me know if you're going to bone out. If not, I'll get somebody else.
I love you, Vice Mayor. I recently attended a Sonoma County Mayors and Council Members Association meeting as the representative. There were some bills that the Cal Cities is going through and lobbying for, and I wanted to kind of run through some of these so that everybody has information as to what's going on and make sure the council is supporting the way Cal Cities is looking at these. And if you're not, or if you want anything special, I can go back to them. The first one is SB 79. It's a planning and zoning, housing development, transit-oriented development. This measure would require cities to approve higher density residential projects up to 7 stories tall near specific public transit stops. It would change all your zoning codes, everything that we couldn't control, and it basically, the difference is through urban and non-urban areas. We would be considered a non-urban area. However, it still gives carte blanche to big corporations, people to buy it and use it for as they choose. This is opposed by Cal Cities at this point. So it's basically, it's designed for the transit agencies to make money, because what's going to happen is your transit agencies are going to go in, buy all the property, and then lease it to places like Costco and storage places like that. And we have no control over the land in our areas. It's opposed so far, so that's great. If anyone is different, I don't think you would be, but if you are, great. Even Santa Rosa everyone's against it, everyone's agreed. SB 569, it's Department of Transportation, it's the homeless encampments. This measure would increase communication between the Department of Transportation and local governments. So basically, Caltrans would create a division so that we would have liaisons to reach out to. They don't know how many, they don't know if it would improve anything, they would just try to improve communication. So they're wanting to spend a lot of money and charge us for it, but they're not guaranteeing that any work gets done. But the goal would be to have more access to a representative or a liaison that could help you get through the homeless encampments, because technically right now we're not allowed to remove anyone that is on state property, which is along your freeways. Like for us, it would affect us the most behind Starbucks and those areas where you see them living now, and it takes months for anything to happen. So right now, their position is to support and sponsor that bill through Cal Cities. The group of mayors that we had were watching what's going on to see the changes that come up through the Senate with this, because we want to make sure that they can guarantee that we're actually going to have results, have access to people, and have access to timelines that they would have to do the work. We don't want it to just be a open-ended checkbook for them. Does that sound fair? Any other ideas? Okay. What's the next good one here? AB 846. It's a wildfire preparedness activities. This measure would create a voluntary, streamlined approach to streamline any necessary environmental permits from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. It makes them work with you to clear out things like your riverbeds. Okay? So it's sponsored and supported. So Cal Cities is pushing it forward. AB 300, fire hazard severity zones, the state fire marshal. This measure would require fire hazard severity zone maps to be updated every 5 years, and would also, there's another portion to it, AB 261, which gives you the ability to review and negotiate these zones. So these are actually supported very highly, and we've seen the problem that we've had in Cloverdale. It didn't get updated, I believe it was like 18 years, and when they did, I think we raised our fire zone 600% coverage in Cloverdale of who's in a high fire zone. That's why your insurances are getting ruined. Next one is, it's a AB 306. It's regarding building regulations. It's a state building standard. It would put a 6-year moratorium on any building standards, including local reach codes, and they would do this for your affordable housing. So basically, they'd say you can build anything you want with no code. AB 306. So it's not, in my opinion, it's not a very smart thing to just let developers do what they want and go against your own codes and your reach codes, like Sonoma County has reach codes. Whether we're for or against those, just the basic building codes would not have to be followed, and so I think that's a bad one, and it's opposed at this point. So it's good that Cal Cities is on the same side. Anyone have any questions on that one?
I just want to say codes are very important.
If you go out to some of the other states that are more Midwest or pushing towards the East Coast, you will see why building codes are important. So
I've been to parts of Australia where there's no building codes, and I've seen.
Those are the only ones that we really discussed at the meeting that are of importance, that needed to be discussed. I'm glad to hear that everyone is on board with what Cal Cities is saying at this point, it sounds like. The next thing I want to report is a good thing. July 4th 10 o'clock, we have a big parade in town, and it's a lot of fun. If you'd like to have a Bloody Mary or mimosa, they're out there about 9 a.m. Parade starts at 10, it's over by 11, and there is the biggest band in Sonoma County is playing in Cloverdale. They expect the biggest crowds that we've ever had in Cloverdale for that day. We have beer booths, drinks, food, water stations, and everything that we possibly can to keep everybody safe while having fun. It'll go from 11 to 1 with the music, 11 to about 2 for everyone to finish their drinking and head back home for the rest of their evening. But I look forward to it, and I hope everyone else shows up and has a good time. Weather's looking to be 92 degrees, no wind, so that's a good thing. It's better than the 106 and 40-mile-an-hour winds like they predicted last year. And so I look forward to the evening fireworks show and the Safe and Sane through our town. So that's all I have. So let's see the next thing. No legislative reports. City manager, it's you.
No report.
City attorney, no report. I'll ask one more time, is council direction on any future agenda items? Anything different that hasn't been said? Great. With that, thank you guys for sticking it out with us. Meeting is adjourned at 8:41.